Hello and welcome to our channel, Marstream, your public performance broadcast platform. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. You can also donate to our tip jar and support the arts and artist of Marstream by clicking the link below in the description. Check out our website, themarsh.org, for all upcoming live performances. Now, enjoy the show.
Good evening. This is an excerpt, part 2 of my show called Senior Moments, continuing where I left off from our last class. To recap, when an actor's Broadway show closes prematurely, he quickly scrambles to take a job, teaching senior adults by day and directing a theater group of high school seniors by night. Life lessons are quickly learned by all as these two populations struggle to find their purpose. The next week, I return to the Senior Living Center. I arrive early to prepare the recreation room. Zena is peering out a window that views the parking lot. Ah, death! Stay far away from me. Oh, that poor Mrs. Fleischman being carted away in that hearse. Ah, you startled me. Oh. You're that jewelry design teacher. No, Zena, I'm Frank, the memoir writing teacher. I was here last week. Oh, I'm so sorry about your friend. Ah, we're all taking that ride. Ooh, maybe I can have her room. It's bigger than mine. Ah, where are my manners? Can I offer you some of my medication? Oh, no, thank you, Zena. I had mine before I arrived. Welcome. Come in, Sid, Blossom, Bob, welcome. What are we doing today, Hank? Zena, it's Frank. We're picking up where we left off last week, writing about a job you held in your life. I had a job in my life. It was, who wants to hear about my story? Besides, who am I? Elizabeth Taylor? Oh, now she had a story with all those husbands. I loved her in Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf. Zena, I think you mean Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Virginia who? Is she the new resident who's replacing Mrs. Fleischman? Why are you all looking at me like that? That's the way my son looks at me. He thinks I can't live alone anymore. Why would he think that, Hank? Virginia Woolf is the name of a movie starring Elizabeth Taylor. Oh, and Zena, my name is, never mind. I'm confused. Is your name Hank? Or never mind. Just kidding. I know it's Hank. This is week 3 of our Senior Moments memoir writing workshop. Last week, I assigned an exercise where I asked you to print your name vertically in uppercase letters against the margin of a piece of paper. I then asked you to draw a picture extending out from each letter, connecting it to a work experience in your life. Example, the F in my name looks like the computer stand I work on when I write my new solo show. Hank! There's no F in Hank. That's true, Zena. The K in my name represents an arrow hitting its target every time I take a risk in my life that works out for me. That's very clever. Oh, thank you, Blossom. So Blossom, can you think of something you could draw out from a letter in your name? Sviti. Nothing in my life is worth remembering. My only fun is when I go to Atlantic City. Oh, Blossom, is that really true? Have you ever held a job in your life? Just a housewife. And now with no husband or children to be a housewife for. When my daughter moved to Seattle, she wanted me to leave New York and live with her. She has a husband and raising two beautiful children. What was I going to do? Have her take care of me as well? So I told her to put me here. Well, perhaps you could take the B in your name and draw out a picture thinking of an activity you performed as a stay-at-home mom. Stay-at-home mom? What a fancy title for an empty life. Okay, you want me to draw a picture from the B in my name? I'll draw something. Well, I can't wait to see it. The B in my name is what I never want to be to my daughter. A burden. See, there I am as the bee on my daughter's back. Oh, well, that was very creative. Oh, Sid, I see you wrote something on your dry erase board. Oh, I didn't mean to startle you. May I read it? Oh, Franca, Bob here. Sid was diagnosed with something called aphasia. He was a published poet, but a stroke robbed his internal monologue. He lost his ability to make pictures in his head. I try to be his voice. I never heard of aphasia. Imagine having no inner dialogue or monologue. Mine can't stop chattering. Sid, I'll have to look you up. And you, Bob? Who, me? Oh, I told you, Bo. I don't write. I just come to watch. I was an accountant. My work was all about creating numbers, not letters. Well, you only have 3 letters in your name. You mentioned last week you were a World War II vet. Perhaps you can take one of the letters in your name and connect it to that experience. What? Oh, no. I got a different story. Yeah. Oh, I was born. I grew up. I worked on people's taxes all my life. I retired after my wife died, and then my daughter put me here because I got sick. I ate breakfast this morning, felt lighter after my morning poop. Between yesterday and today, I grew more hairs up my nose and in my ears and on my head. End of story. Did my wrist hit the arrow in my target? Oh, okay. So you're the jokester in the group. You're cute. Hey, don't call me cute. Every time I say something funny around here, people think I'm cute. I'm not something you can write off like a tax deduction. I'm still vital, you know. Well, of course you're vital, Bob. Apparently you do have something to say. Welcome to your first story. What story? I didn't even follow the rules. Just keep telling stories like that. Ladies and gentlemen, lunch is being served. And once again, the chariot race is off to the cafeteria. Oh God. First, you have everything taken away from you. Then you end up in a place like this. Oh, Sid, you left your dry erase board. I need to stay present if I want to connect. Why was he too frightened to share this? Am I missing something? These are not just people I can throw writing exercises out while waiting for my next performing gig. They're real, with real stories. I am looking forward to my evening rehearsal of Noises Off. At least I know how to direct a show. I entered the theater. Seasons of Love is blasting out of Blaine's mouth as Whitney's legs straddle his hips. She rides him like a bucking bronco across the stage. Their recent hookup has become the new cast distraction. At the foot of the stage, Xander is lost in his fantasy world of ballet poses. Blaine uses Whitney to collide into him, and Xander falls to the floor. That didn't look like an accident. Hey, everybody, Blaine just asked me to prom. I said yes. Are you happy for me, twin sister Brittany? Yay, twin sister Whitney. Blaine, that is so sick. I can't wait to see you sparkle, Whitney. Hey, everyone. Oh, time for a selfie. Let's Snapchat it over to Miss Sally. Send. Excuse me, are we auditioning to be contestants on The Bachelorette? Or are we rehearsing Noises Off? What did I say? Let's just start. I'm excited to announce in just 3 weeks, we've staged 161 pages of script. So to celebrate, let's begin with a fun warm-up theater game. That's beginner stuff. Blaine, a warm-up brings the cast together. My younger actors in the cast say, wow, this is so dope. But instead of playing, my senior actors play a ping pong game of dirty looks. Is he really making us do this? The leftover DNA of my predecessor, Miss Sally LeMay, still lingers. Well, I'm made to feel like a perpetual replacement. Week 1, I'm treated like the second Mrs. De Winter from the movie Rebecca. Week 2, like the second Darren Stevens from the TV sitcom Bewitched. Week 3, like gluten-free pizza. Frank, you have 3 more weeks left before we open. You know how to win them over. Okay, everyone, so we have 3 pages left to stage in Act 2. Then the entire show will be blocked. So this is a fast-paced, complicated scene. The set is now reversed, so the audience sees the action from backstage. The actors you portray are preparing for their entrances to perform a play within the play. The relationship between your characters are falling apart with personal quarrels, offstage antics, and where a prop cactus is used as a weapon of revenge. So, before we take our places, let's run our lines so we understand the comedic timing. 525,600 minutes. That's how long that's going to take. We already know about comedic timing. Can't we just stage it? Blaine, what's with the Broadway show tune responses? It's show tune therapy, a theater stress-reducing technique invented by Miss Sally. What? I'm calm, I'm perfectly calm, I'm utterly under control. Some of us continue to see her for emotional support. Whitney and Brittany, who I now call the Itney twins, respond in agreement. It works. So grateful for Miss Sally. So, after you leave me, you're seeing your former director as a therapist? She understands our feelings. What's so funny about that? I'm not laughing because it's funny. I just don't think it's, what? Let's just take our places for Act 2. I watched them at work. Producer Peter Pippin is right. They are very talented. Now, it's time for them to see what I have to offer. Okay, everyone, for this scene, I have a fresh idea. We're ignoring the playwright's stage directions and the script. I want to experiment with staging I feel would be more appropriate for our small set design. So, Brittany, could you please go upstairs to door number 3 and stand next to Blaine? Or is it Brittany or Whitney or W-H-I-T-N-E-Y. I'm Whitney. I'm Whitney. B-R-I-T-N-E-Y. That's Brittany. That's Brittany. Maybe if we sing it like cheerleaders, you remember our name. Oh, sorry. Whitney, you're downstairs, and Brittany, your place is also downstairs, right, standing next to Xander. Ick, I have to act a scene with little Prancer Xander. Brittany, I'll pretend I didn't hear that. Xander, your back is to Blaine, so he can see you. Blaine, you fly into a jealous rage when you see Zitney kissing. Who's Zitney? Oh, I mean Xander and Brittany, who are downstairs kissing. Oh shit. Now my confusion is spreading to the other cast members. Don't let their arrogance unground you, Frank. Blaine, Brittany plays your girlfriend. When you see Xander kissing her, you yank the cactus from Whitney's hands, race downstairs, and charge Xander from behind, stabbing his rear end with a cactus. I know you'll make this hilarious. Let's try it. Frank, have you taken the time to examine the quantitative data in the playwright's script? If you look at his stage directions against our set design, it already presents the desired schematic effect you need to achieve. Blaine, I said, we're not following the playwright's stage directions. We're experimenting with my idea. Miss Sally would have done it better. I know I'm right. It's in the script. Blaine, put the script away. My idea will work. Let's continue. So everybody, oh, where was I? Between the Itney twins, the double character names in the play within the play, and Blaine's interruption, I blank out. Oh, one second while I glance at my script. Xander, if you move more stage right, that will allow me to get downstairs faster to stab you with the cactus. Then Brittany, you can... Is that little Poindexter directing my scene? Blaine, what are you doing? But it's too late. Fist pumps and cheers are flying all around. Blaine, what you staged is so cool. Blaine saves the day. I feel myself leaving my body, trapped inside an echo chamber. What do I say? Rehearsal's over. What in fuck's name just happened? As director, don't I have a right to try a different idea? Later that night, I'm awakened to a blitz of phone alerts. The fucking mic was dropped on Frank tonight. What? A flash flood of social media posts are pouring in. You know, those open-ended comments that incite attention. Play rehearsal sucked until Blaine saved the day. Blaine's mother chimes in. I'm so proud of my Blaine. Frank should gauge the cast frustration sooner before they blow. Tonight, we welcome our new director of noises off, Blaine, accented by a string of clapping emojis. No one realizes I'm connected to the feed as well. I do fucking know how to direct a scene. I successfully directed 161 pages of script, and this little boundary crossing Eve Harrington hijacks the last 3 and they crown him director. Hiya, Frank, Peter Pippin here. My phone won't stop from parents saying their kids aren't happy at rehearsal. How's it going? Oh, it's going, but I don't know where I'm going. You know, you could have warned me about this Bengali hole Sally LeMay has on these kids. I don't want you to prejudge them. Oh, but Sally LeMay? Oh, she was the best director I ever worked with. Oh, and is that supposed to make me feel good? You're gonna let her get to you like that? Sally LeMay is no concern of yours. She's yesterday, you're today. The kids need to work with new blood. Well, my blood needs a transfusion because it's being rejected. I can't seem to win these kids over. I thought you said they were professional. Frank, you're gonna allow a bunch of kids with underdeveloped prefrontal lobes run all over you? Be firm with them. If they give you a hard time, send them home. I got your back. I'm looking forward to our big Broadway caliber opening. And oh, by the way, did you look at the video I sent from the Noises of Production I directed here 10 years ago? Can't wait to see how you'll incorporate that into this one. What bizarro Broadway and Wonderland world is this? Where's the accountability here? Am I crazy? Just fucking quit. I never quit anything in my life.
Most of my family loves outdoor activities. But these things, they never appealed to me as much as, say, lounging. When people ask me if I like athletics, I always say, no, I'm the family intellectual, which sounds much better than, no, I'm completely uncoordinated, which I am. Yeah, the couch is much more my speed. My mother also preferred the couch. She spent her days reclined in the air-conditioned family room. She'd be wearing a flowered housecoat, smoking Viceroy filter longs, watching General Hospital and resting legs that hadn't seen the sun in decades, which is where she is the day she announces, "So, Carol, I've got some news. Ruth and I have signed on to lead your Girl Scout troop, and we're starting by taking you all on a camping trip. Doesn't that sound like fun?" Ruth is her best friend. She's a beautiful, large woman who wouldn't be caught dead in a house coat. No, she lounged in expensive pot de soie lingerie. My mother's Italian, Ruth is Jewish. They're really more alike than different. And they bonded over their mutual avoidance of exercise of any kind. Why walk when you can run? Why run when you can drive? And why do any of it when you can recline at home? How many chain-smoking, couch-lounging moms actually lead Girl Scout troops, do you think? Since neither Ruth nor my mother canoes, camps, or crafts, is there a merit badge for lounging? The next day I see Ruth's daughter, Valerie, at school. "So, Valerie, did you hear? Our moms are taking us camping." I know. Can you imagine? No, I can't believe it. Well, if nothing else, we might get to make real s'mores over a real campfire. Maybe. Soon we're unpacking our little bags on the cots in the big cabin at Girl Scout camp. My mother surveys the camp. Ruth, there's no stove. See that big fire pit over there? That's where we cook. But I brought a lasagna. You can't be serious, Sandy. You brought a lasagna camping. I assumed there'd be an oven. Besides, I thought it would be nice. That's Michigan. Let's just stick to hot dogs. See those logs? All we have to do is build a fire. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You're in charge of cooking. You do it. I made the lasagna. You should cook it. Neither of them makes a move toward the fire pit. We Girl Scouts look at each other. We are 10 and live in the suburbs. What do we know about building a fire? At this rate, we'll never get to dinner, much less s'mores. Someone's got to do something. Me. Okay, Mom, got some matches? Oh, no, don't give her matches. Be careful. I wouldn't trust her with fire. Okay, I admit. Playing with matches when I was 6, I set fire to the huge grassy field behind our house. It was an impressive inferno. The fire department had to be called. Many trucks. But that did not qualify me to make a campfire. It qualified me for arson. Still, I have an idea. Mom, can't we just rub 2 sticks together? No, Carol, no, we can't. Just then, my dad drives up in his white Oldsmobile convertible. He's there to drop off provisions. He loves the outdoors. He's camped in Alaska and killed a huge Kodiak bear whose brown pelt with its perpetual grimace is now our living room rug. Sam, we have to make a fire. So go ahead, make it. Sam, can you just build the fire for us? It figures. You women are so helpless out in the wild. In the wild? Like this is a wild? Shh, don't start with him. We need him to get that fire going or we'll never get to dinner. My dad expertly lays paper for kindling and then the wood. Now, can you women at least manage to light the paper for the kindling? My mother pulls out her cigarette lighter, lights it, and then lights a viceroy for herself. That should do it. You're on your own. Lots of luck. Soon we Scouts pierce our hot dogs with branches and are roasting them over the fire. That was the extent of my mother's camping. Mine too, for more than 20 years. I just moved to California. I am 33 and I am dating a very cute 23-year-old, a native Californian, a real Paul Bunyan. He's quiet, cool, even drives an old beat-up red Willis truck. We met when I went to my first California country bar. He asked me to dance, I brought him home, and he didn't leave for a year and a half. I have at least 30 IQ points on him. Okay, maybe more, but I'm newly divorced and, well, his body. Everything's a trade-off, right? When he took me home to meet his mom, she called me aside. Okay, let me get this straight. You've got a master's degree, right? Tell me again why it is you're dating my son. I am taken aback. After all, he did start work on his GED after we met. I don't think his mother should look a gift horse in the mouth. Paul Bunyan loves camping, of course. One morning, he turns over in bed and says, "Want to go to Yosemite?" Of course, sounds like fun. Anything with Paul Bunyan is fun. Some things more fun than others. Our accommodations at the park are a tent cabin, which is a tent raised on a wooden platform, and there is a bed. Bathroom facilities are down the trail. And we hike around the park. Yosemite is stunning. And so is the view I have of Paul Bunyan's tight 501s on the trail ahead of me. He looks over at me and says, "Let's go horseback riding." Yes, absolutely, let's. I do my best to sound thrilled, but I'm really terrified. I have never been on a horse. The horses standing outside the barn are huge, taller than me. I asked the guide, "How tall is this horse?" 17 hands. 17 hands? Yup. Is that literal hands? Big hands or small hands? What a ridiculous way to measure a horse. What's wrong with feet? Whatever. I put my hand on its back. Oh man, this horse is enormous and it is a long way down. What if I fall off and crack my head? Get brain damage? Oh my God, what if I die? Before I can back out, the guide boosts me onto the horse. Her name is Tess. Okay, so can I ride behind you? And can my boyfriend ride behind me? Paul Bunyan expertly navigates his horse into place behind me. I feel much safer. We start out on an easy trail through the woods. Tess decides to stop and munch on some bushes. Everyone else rides ahead. My horse doesn't move. She's become a trail post, one that's much more interested in eating than working. Can't blame her. Come on, Tess, let's go. Come on, let's go. She doesn't move. She won't go. Dig your heels into her haunches. Is he kidding? I'm not going to do that. What if she gallops off, dragging me behind? No, I'm not doing it. But Tess pays no attention. She just keeps grazing. I can't even see the others. They're so far ahead. Before long, the guide rides back, grabs the reins, and leads us back into position behind him. Pretty soon, we start to climb. And the higher we go, the narrower the trail. There is a sheer drop to the right. I know what that means. I've seen every movie ever made on Everest climbing disasters. When we go up, lean forward into the horse so you don't fall off or drag the horse down backwards. Holy shit, this horse can fall backwards with me on it. I lean forward with all my might. And out of the corner of my eye, I glimpse my boyfriend behind me, casually athletic on his horse, his muscular thighs firmly gripping the animal. I'm too terrified to appreciate that sight. Yes, that terrified. Finally, we start back down the trail. Going down, be sure to lean back in your saddle so you don't tumble over your horse. He doesn't add, and down the ravine to your death. Finally, back at the barn, the guide helps me off the horse, and my legs are quivering so badly they almost give out. But Paul Bunyan dismounts gracefully, smiles happily, and then says, "That was fun, wasn't it?" He's serious. Yes, it was so much fun. I can barely stand up, but I survived. I feel kind of like a real Californian. The rest of our camping trip, much more my speed. Paul Bunyan is not a small man, and he is both energetic and enthusiastic. Who knew the beds in these cabins were so sturdy? 20 years later, I'm at a political meeting talking to one of the other volunteers about how burned out I feel on my job. "Well, Carol, what are you doing in the middle of the month? Maybe you'd like to join a bunch of us at family camp weekend." "What is family camp, Phyllis? Is it camping? Do you bring your family?" No, just women. Cabin camping at a beautiful farm retreat for the weekend. It's on a lake, really pretty. We do this every year. And the women are great. You might even make some new friends. Camping. I don't have a sleeping bag. No. Oh, you don't need one. It's cabin camping. The cabins have beds and pillows and linens. Come on, it'll be fun. I'll put you down for a 2-room cabin. Cabin, so not really camping. I'd been to a friend's log cabin in North Carolina once, and it was beautiful and charmingly furnished. This sounds great. Sounds good. I'll drive. My Prius gets great mileage. Okay, I'm in. We arrive at a big farmhouse set on 1,000 acres. There are golden hills as far as the eye can see. It's picturesque, peaceful, beautiful. In a nearby pasture, I see farm animals, cute little brown piglets scurrying around. So adorable. Most of the other women have already arrived. So many Birkenstocks and yoga pants. Is the entire population of Berkeley here? I am the only newcomer, so I meet everyone, and then I grab my bag and set out on the short trail to find my cabin. Within just a minute, voices fade, and I'm in shady woods. They feel kind of creepy, ominously quiet and isolated. Boy, it must be dark out here at night. No lights. Be easy to get lost trying to find my cabin in the dark. Why didn't I bring a larger flashlight? Be rational, I tell myself. The farmhouse is just a minute or two away. Mountain lions are fast. I wonder how many are lurking out here in these woods right now. Not to mention bears. No one had mentioned them. I wasn't asking. I know they're out here. They're on our flag. Why wouldn't they be? I scan the trail for bear scat. Yes, I know what that looks like. I watch National Geographic TV. I see the communal shower and there it is, cabin 3, my home for the weekend. The door creaks loudly when I open it, so I step in. In front of me is a crude wood frame double bed and 2 bunk beds, rough bunk beds. Bunk beds. Should I have brought children? If I had children, I would never allow them to sleep in such a primitive place. They could get slivers. I imagine the 3 bears breaking into this cabin and then running out in horror. No self-respecting bear would get in one of those beds. A rickety wooden table sits in one corner. I mean, I didn't expect Ethan Allen, but you'd think someone would at least sand the wood. A cold water sink, small, sits over there in the corner. Yes, 1 faucet. What am I supposed to do with that? Certainly not going to drink out of it. When I push open the rough wooden door to the second room, it practically falls off its hinges. I count 6. 6 more rough wooden bunk beds. 6 beds? Who has that many children? Mormons? Even we Catholics stopped doing that. And there are cobwebs on everything. Or are they poisonous brown recluse spider webs? I'm not unpacking. I back out of the guest room. Near the double bed, I see an enamel pot with a cover. Well, that's odd. What a strange place for a soup can. Is that a chamber pot? Oh my God, who has used this thing before me? And who's in charge of washing it out? And does it get sanitized? Oh. Where is the quaint living room I had envisioned? The charming Western leather sofa, the patchwork quilt bedspread. This hovel is straight out of Tobacco Road, and I've got to get out of here. But I can't. Phyllis drove. I have no way out.
The CDC announced that vaccinated people don't have to wear masks anymore. I'm vaccinated and I can't wait to talk to people again without a mask. I'm so sick of shelter in place in San Francisco. I drive to West Portal. It's like a village in the middle of the city. I see a man sitting on a bench panhandling. I want to give him $1, but I don't have any cash. I approach and make eye contact. Hi, how you doing? Sorry, I don't have any cash on me. Well, you could go over to the ATM, get me some. What? I am not going to the ATM. The only reason I can still afford to live in San Francisco is our rent-controlled apartment. 10,000 people, maybe more, are homeless now in the San Francisco. In 1979, it wasn't like this. When I moved to the city, people didn't live in tents on the street. I used to walk the streets of San Francisco ecstatic, just to look at the light. I was so happy just to be in San Francisco. Anyway, I think about leaving every day, but where would I go? And how do you leave the city you love after 50 years? Oh, Toast Cafe is open and it's packed with people who aren't wearing masks. I go in and the server motions me to sit down at the counter and I order a raspberry mimosa to celebrate reopening. The servers keep circling around and back. Can we get you anything else? Is everything all right? I'm just not used to this much attention. On the sidewalk in front of Starbucks, I see flower bouquets, and more bouquets are taped onto an electrical box. It's a makeshift memorial for a man named Roosevelt. He died last week. I approached the handmade poster with his color photograph. It says, "Rest in peace, Rosey." One eye is drooping, but the other eye shines as brightly as a star. And he feels so alive. I go into the Starbucks looking for anybody who might have known him. What can I get started for you? An Americano? Did you by chance know Roosevelt? Yeah, but he hadn't been on the street much lately. The barista hurries off to make my coffee. And when he brings back my first cup of Starbucks in over a year, it just feels so unessential. I go outside, put down my coffee to take out a newspaper, and I hear a man say, "Don't forget your $5 cup of Starbucks when you leave. Every day I see people leaving their expensive drinks behind." Oh no, I won't. I haven't had a cup of Starbucks in over a year. The man is wearing an orange safety vest, a red mask, and he's carrying a broom. He cleans streets for the city. He moves closer to talk to me. My wife got breast cancer at the start of COVID. Every day I thank God we didn't catch it. Oh yeah, we are the lucky ones. Say, can I take your photo? I just want a memento of this day of reopening. I take one. Do I dare to ask him to take off his mask so I can take another? I do, and he does. And then I can see his whole handsome face and his beautiful smile. We've been separated from each other for far too long. I pass back by the Roosevelt Memorial. A musician is setting up now to play for spare change. Did you know Roosevelt? For 20 years, he sure knew how to make people feel good. He panhandled on this street for 28 years, and he sure knew how to make money. Just then, an older man with white hair came to take photos of the memorial. Can I take your photo with Roosevelt? Sure. My sons want photos of Rosey too. What was he like? He was like an angel. He called me preacher man. And when we prayed together, I felt a direct connection to God. I saw a tear roll down preacher man's cheek. And when he walked away from the memorial, I walked alongside him. He whispered, "Red is devastated. Rosey was Red's best friend. When Rosey hadn't been on the street for a week, Red went to look for him in the Tenderloin. It was there he found out that Rosey had died alone in his hotel room." I walked back to my car thinking about what really matters now that COVID's killed 500,000 Americans or more. And how can I be a little kinder like Rosey? And I remember my 55th birthday in Italy, a famous astrologer told me that in my past lifetimes, I served in religious communities. But in this lifetime, I would listen to people's confessions in public spaces. A few weeks later, I went back to West Portal. I saw a man standing in front of the Walgreens. He was staring at me and then he smiled. I approached him and said, "Are you Red?" "Yes, ma'am, I'm Red." What were the chances I would meet Red on my first trip back to West Portal? I told Red I was writing a story about Rosey, and he burst out, "Rosey, my man." He was such a beautiful guy. When I was homeless, I was beaten and robbed, and I lost everything. I wanted to die. But Rosey lifted me up. He'd say, "Let's go to Starbucks, man, and let's listen to the music and dance." And when I was hungry, he would slip me a 20. Red started to cry. I still talk to his photograph every day. I say, "I love you, man, and I miss you." And he tells me, "I love you more, man." When COVID took away life as we knew it in San Francisco, I stopped talking with strangers, and I spent more time alone than I ever dreamed possible. I think about Rosey, how he gave so much to people and he didn't have a lot of money, and I don't have a lot either. I try to give people my attention and listen. As far as leaving San Francisco, magic still lurks in every corner here if I'm open to feel it. And the light in San Francisco, it still makes me ecstatic.
Yay.
much did you spend? 你用咗幾多錢啊? That is always the question, whether it be real estate, a piece of furniture, a pair of jeans, spinach. That's my Aunt Lily who's talking. She stands about 5 feet tall, wears gold bangles on one wrist, a green jade bangle and on the other, has a permed beehive. She's very popular, always cracking jokes. How much did you spend? 90,000. That's my sister Patsy, visiting here in San Francisco from the East Coast. She's wearing her Agnes B denim jacket, a white t-shirt, a blue silk scarf, black ankle-length jeans, and her black Stefan Kilian shoes. She's a New Yorker. I live here in San Francisco, so I'm wearing my baggy Lucky Brand blue jeans, a black belt, black t-shirt, and a tan shirt over that with the sleeves rolled up. Yeah, and my brown Doc Martens. You look like you're going to war with those boots. Hee. That's one of Aunt Lily's humorous observations. She's come up with that all on her own. It's an original. You pay cash? That's my Aunt Rhoda, Lily's sister. We've just finished dinner at Lily's house and we're sitting around the dining table. Aunt Rhoda is about 5'5". She wears her hair straight, not much jewelry. She doesn't mince words. The first time I lived on my own, I had a studio apartment in the Haight. All my furniture was scavenged or used. Aunt Rhoda came over to check it out. And I'd put a red rose on the coffee table for the occasion. It looks like you put a flower on a garbage heap. I don't know why you bothered. This is even more bluntness than I'm used to. You pay cash? No, Carol paid for it. How are you paying her back? I put her on title. Huh? 有冇搞錯啊? 哎呀, why would you do something like that? Why don't you just borrow money from a bank like a normal person? You could even have asked me. You don't just put people on title. Oh my God. Ay. My aunts are baffled by many things, but the value of Manhattan real estate isn't one of them. They look like someone has died. What if Carol gets married? Well, then I'll buy her out. We're talking about the remodel of Patsy's place in New York. She moved into Soho in the late 70s, along with a bunch of artists who liked the cheap rents in the big open spaces. When Soho became trendy in the 80s, Con Edison sold all their buildings to one developer and he issued mass evictions. A bunch of the tenants banded together and fought for compensation as they had all improved their spaces. Against all odds, they won. And the developer moved them all into one building and gave it to them. It's 1986, and my sister ends up with a 1,200 square foot loft in the heart of Soho for free. It's now 7 years later, and she's just getting around to fixing up the raw space, spending $90,000. Having absorbed the shock, Aunt Lily moves on. How many bedrooms? 1. Huh? Why didn't you make 2 bedrooms? You went to all that trouble already. We like the open space. So where does Carol sleep? We sleep in the same room. Something is odd, but they can't quite put their finger on it. Oh boy, if this keeps up, Patsy may have to spell it out. My aunts never asked either Patsy or I about our personal lives, marriage, dating, nothing. Come to think of it, my parents don't ask either. And even amongst us 4 siblings, very little about personal relationships is discussed. We show up at a family gathering with a girl or boy, sleep in the same bed, and it's assumed we're dating. No questions necessary, no discussions needed. This all works pretty well, except for the aunts. Where's the bedroom? Patsy makes a sketch of the apartment. This is the bedroom. This is the front door. It's the bathroom and some windows over here. Is there a beam down the middle of the bed? Because that's not good for your health. No, there's no beam. My aunts are fervent believers in feng shui. Decades ago, Aunt Lily had a feng shui master come to her place in Hong Kong. When he asked her what was more important to her, a husband or money? Money! It's worked out pretty well for her. Where is the bed? Patsy makes a small addition to the sketch. It's the bedroom. This is the bed. So where does Carol sleep? Another small adjustment is necessary. Patsy keeps her cool and draws a line down the middle of the bed. They're still looking blank. Maybe another small addition would help. She draws two pillows. They both go, oh, I can't believe that worked. But something is still nagging at them, something not quite right. Aunt Rhoda makes a helpful suggestion. Why don't you move one of the beds over here? We can't, because that's where the closet is. And there it stopped. My sister had batted away every volley. Aunt Lily turns and stares at the side of her face as though she's never seen her before. A few months later, I take my father out for dim sum on Father's Day, along with his sisters, Aunts Lily and Rhoda. I invite them over to my apartment for dessert afterward. It's Gay Pride Month, and for the first time I've bought a pride flag, and it's hanging out on the balcony. I thought about taking it down, but I couldn't be bothered. Anyway, they'll never notice. Ever brand conscious, my father's decked out in Ralph Lauren. He's wearing a yellow button-down polo shirt, a white windbreaker, and he seems to have doused himself in Calvin Klein obsession. He's got the weekly menu for all the San Francisco senior lunches. It's a deal at $1.50. Fridays, he mostly goes for parashkis at the Russian Center in the Richmond. Most other days, he goes for the Korean lunches in Japantown. I asked him, how come you never go to the Chinese lunches? No. All they talk about is their medications, their illnesses, their operations. I don't want to hear it. Don't the Korean seniors talk about the same thing? I don't know. I don't speak Korean. At the Russian Center, he gets a kick out of embellishing his past, like how he got on the last passenger flight out of Saigon just as the Viet Cong were moving in, because someone at the counter was someone he had helped out many years ago. Actually, he flew out first class on Pan Am months beforehand. Sometimes the stories are made out of whole cloth, like how he spied for the Americans in Saigon. In reality, he literally pushed the pencil around his desk at the family business. It's hard to make friends when your personal history is in a constant state of flux. This is the first time my aunts have been to my new apartment. Oh, this is nice. Oh, you have a bedroom now? What a small living room. Wow. Oh, Oh, and balcony, you have a view. You can see downtown and the Bay Bridge. Wow. How much? $500 a month. I'm so lucky. Aunt Rhoda isn't so impressed. Not bad. Could be a little bit cheaper. Aunt Lily discusses the dim sum with my dad. How did you like the dim sum? I didn't know you wanted the 1,000-layer cake. Too bad they ran out. We should have ordered it as soon as we got there. Anyway, you're diabetic. You shouldn't be eating that stuff. The turnip cake wasn't crispy enough, and the beef chow fun, all the noodles were stuck together. It came lukewarm, and there weren't enough bean sprouts. Standards have fallen. Yes, Mabel said the chef left for Hong Kong Flower Lounge. We'll have to go there next time. My family loves to offer unsolicited opinions on food, decor, life choices, anything we know nothing about. And we do it with passion. It's the Tiger Mom ethos run amok, always picking out something that could be better. As I grow older, my powers of discernment have also sharpened. While dining out, I might say something like, this fish is 20 seconds overcooked. If I wanted to eat overcooked fish, I would have stayed home and made it myself. East Coast people either nod in agreement or disagree, whatever. My West Coast friends seem to feel lucky to be eating out at all. They think I'm unhappy because I've offered a critique, and it ruins their enjoyment. Actually, I'm having the best time. It's just sport to me. And I'm pleased that my palate has become so sophisticated. In truth, I'm hard put to tell the difference between parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Halfway through dessert, Aunt Rhoda spots something. What's that flag out there? Have you seen that flag before? No. Making go, oh. What's that flag? I'm trying to think of a word that's less clinical than Tong Sinh Lun, which is homosexual in Cantonese. It's always on the lookout for an opportunity to make stuff up. My dad jumps in. It's the 1,000 Nation flag. He's pleased with himself. He thinks he's helped me out of a jam. 1,000 Nation flag, huh? Oh, wow. Never heard of that. Have you? No. Mei Tango. When did they come up with this? I decide to nip this in the bud before it goes further off the rails. It's the homosexual flag. Huh? Homosexuals have their own flag? Wow, I didn't know that. Did you? No. Jaime? Wow. Where do you buy this? How much? Unexpectedly, Aunt Rhoda strikes a positive tone. Homosexuals really care about their health. They only eat organic foods. My aunts like to shop at Rainbow Grocery, the organic food co-op. Yes, and they're very nice. They help us to the car with the groceries. And there's a 10% senior discount. Ah, I see. I can just picture the workers at Rainbow with their purple hair, the tattoos, the piercings, the mohawks. It's the mid-90s, and even I have thought more than once. There are only a couple of places a lot of these people can get a job. Rainbow and Tower Records. So my aunts think they're all gay because they look so weird. There's a lull in the conversation. No one knows what to say next. I'm glad it's over. But then something else occurs to Aunt Lily. if you hang the homosexual flag, aren't you afraid that people will think you're homosexual? Well, I am. Huh? She's homosexual? I didn't know that, did you? No. Dear. Oh, hi, Ma. Oh. Again, my dad is helpful. Homosexuals are very educated. They're mostly doctors and lawyers. They make a lot of money. Now I feel like a failure. I don't even know what to say. I'm sorry I went there. When I go over this later in my head, I realize where I went wrong. The answer to, aren't you afraid people will think you're homosexual, should have been no. And it would have ended there. Thanks.
And thank you very much for seeing tonight's performance, and be sure and check out the Marsh website. Good night.